Do you guys know the fabled Amaryllis belladonna? Translate that. I didn't make it up. I didn't make the name of this plant, but I'll just go out and say it. Well, the Latin doesn't exactly translate into the common name, but it's similar. Amaryllis belladonna, the Amaryllis genus. Belladonna means beautiful woman. Well, the common name of this plant is the naked lady, and I'll tell you why they call it that. And that's because in the winter the plant sends up all its foliage and it takes in all that beautiful sunlight energy from the sun, and it makes energy to grow, and then eventually that foliage will die down, probably in about maybe April, and then there'll be nothing here. You won't even notice it. And then in July and August, all of a sudden, and we're talking about the northern hemisphere, boom, these big beautiful pink flowers will pop up, and they are absolutely gorgeous out of just completely dry ground. And so I thought this would be a great spot to put them. I often find these things when we go dig holes for planting palms or other trees, people's yards, and they just, pop up, and the people are like, oh, I don't want those. I'm like, oh, they probably don't know what they are. These things are worth, like, a little 1 gallon plant like that's worth $15. And I've got hundreds and thousands of them by now. So I get them whenever I can. I collect the seed off the ones that we have and make little babies, which is pretty easy to do. It just takes time. It takes 7 to 10 years for a little baby like this one here to grow up. Oh no, there it is. Look at the little bulb. That little bulb. That's what they'll look like the first year you plant them. And I'm gonna very carefully plant that back. But it's really hard to throw these things away. They end up all over your driveway when you plant them next to your driveway. Little pearls. See that little pearl bulb? And so sometimes you walk on them, you feel terrible. So our family, we save as many as we can. My daughter, Rhea, she actually got these going from seed many years ago. And so now we're at the ranch. She's having her wedding here in May. And they won't be blooming, but at least they'll be in the ground. These are all the ones that she germinated, and I took the trencher, made a trench all the way through here. Manuel and I and his daughter are helping us right now. And we're gonna plant all these along here, and they'll just multiply and get thicker every year. And then they have to hit a critical size. Like, these are too small to bloom. But I would say that those are probably a little too small. This big one here, that'll probably bloom. So when they get that big, that's when they really start to bloom. But it's a fantastic plant to line things with, especially where, you have no irrigation here in California or places like California, climates like California, because it doesn't need any supplemental irrigation. If you plant them in the middle of summer, you might want to water them a couple times, get them seeded in. But the rains will do the rest. And also, they will be a little bit, like, some people call it ugly. I don't. When all that stuff dries up, it creates like a mat across here. And so you could cut that back to make it neat. And I'm actually doing that right now because I just want it to be neat for the wedding. Because that's the wedding's the time of year that they would be drying up. It's easier to do it right now. Easier to plant them like that too. The thing is that if you can learn to appreciate and like the dead foliage look, it just becomes a nice mulch for the plant. It actually helps insulate the ground from drying out, and it will thereby help the plant in its use of the moisture that does fall upon it. And the ground will stay moisture for a longer period of time, but it has a blanket of foliage, dead foliage on top of it. So keep that plant in mind. Amaryllis belladonna, the naked lady. You got some long lines and you want something really interesting. I don't have the flower on the video. Maybe I'll plug the flower in if I'm ambitious, and you can see the flower. But eventually this will be all pink, all along these telephone poles, the whole line of just unbelievable pink flowers. And that is what we are doing today, February 12th, 2024.